On this episode of Searchers, we're at the Hervey Hindman Clarke House.
The Hervey Hindman Clarke House was built 1856.
Whoa! Hey, Rich, come here! I think I might have a coin. Ooh, it looks silver.
On Searchers, we combine myth and history to find the truth.
The Hervey Hindman Clarke House was built 1856. Now, the Clarke family is one of the earliest families in Washington County. They would have originally settled near West Alexander. Now, Hervey Hindman went to the West Alexander Academy, then went to Washington Jefferson College. After graduating from the college, although he went for law, he would never practice law. He never got heavily involved in politics, only at a very local level. He really focused his time on farming. So this whole area around this house was his farm. It would have been a farm where he grew rye. He also had sheep. It's not known, but in the 1870s, Washington County, Pennsylvania was the #1 producer of quality sheep's wool in the country. It was a huge business here, and that is a lot where Hervey Hindman gained his wealth. 3 generations of the Clarke family lived here at this house. After that, it was sold. It remained a residence for a while. At one point, it was actually used as a banquet hall. We're hoping that we can find some items that we could tie to the Clarke family. Something like a button or a coin, personal items that we can tie to their history. And we can help tell the story of the Clarke family in Washington County, Pennsylvania.
We're here at the Hervey Hindman Clarke House, and the guys are eager to get started and see what they can find.
Hey, you know what? That's a pretty good sound. You know, it's probably one of the better sounds I've had all day. Let's check it out. There's something right there. Hey, check it out. Look right here. I know exactly what that is. If you see those 2 little buckles right there, this is a spender buckle. You know, they would have worn them, the cloth going through it. You know, these are really popular all the way probably from the mid-19th century all the way up into the early 20th century. You know, something like this out here working around, you know, maybe putting up hay, doing something with the wagon. Something like this could easily get torn off as you're pulling something off or working a piece of machinery. These things get lost all the time, and you find them around places just like this. I've been detecting around this barn here, and I've already found one. You know, it looks like a suspender buckle. But you know what? I have something that's almost the same kind of signals. Let's see what we got. Right there, whatever it is. Oh, check it out. It is. It's another one of those buckles. It's a little different. This is a different part of the suspender buckle. It doesn't have the little attachments that dig into the material. But again, these are very popular. You know, farmers and everyone's are wearing these things. And again, around a barn like this right here, easily lose something like this, get too close to the wagon, hay bale, piece of equipment, whatever you're doing can easily rip it off of you. Pretty cool find.
I don't know what I got here. It says coin, then it says screw cap, then it says zinc. I'm going to dig it because I'm curious more than anything else. This ground is nothing but rocks. Worth its weight in gold. Oh, look at that. Well, it was zinc. It's a Matchbox car, or at least something similar to a Matchbox car. Looks like a Matchbox car that got flattened by a tractor.
You know, I'm in a nice little area right here. There's a bunch of little signals. You know, you just gotta take your time really slow and try to pick out each of those individual little targets. There's just so much. Wait a second. Now see, there's a really good signal. Real high tone. It's probably gonna be a non-ferrous, maybe copper, something like that. Let's check out and see what we have. All right, let's see. It said it was near the surface, but let's see. Nope, it's down pretty deep. Right there. It's definitely a penny. It says 1 cent on the back, but it's not an Indian head. This is a Lincoln penny. You know, it is, I mean, the difference of this and some of the other coins we found today, this one here has a lot of corrosion on it, almost to the point that it's more in the date right now. But knowing Lincoln coins, they were first minted with his profile on in 1909. So I know that this coin is at least that old. And you know what? It's escaped me right now when the last Wheaties were done until they switched to the memorials. But I know it's no older than 1909. You know, right there behind the house, there was all kinds of stuff in that ground. I mean, I had to turn up my discriminator because there was so many signals, a lot of iron and other things that it was too much chatter. I could not pick out individual targets until I went very slowly. You know, I just found this penny right here, and I just started sweeping again, and I have another good target. Let's see what it is. I mean, again, like I said, there's so much stuff right here, but right off the corner of the house. So I'm expecting stuff like this close to it. Wow, some of this stuff is hard. Again, it's hard to get a good plug out of this stuff. It's so dry. Oh, whoa! Hey, Rich, come here. I think I might have a coin. Oh, maybe not. But look at this.
Is it a coin or is
I don't know. Look at it. It's large and round. But, oh, maybe
Why
it's
do you
a
say
pendant.
that when I walk over?
I mean, that's it right there. But there's a hole in it. I can see a hole. I mean, it's, unless someone used a coin, but it's, I don't know. It's pretty thin.
What is that?
I know exactly what that is. It's a pocket watch back. It's part of a pocket watch.
Oh, yeah. Those are the screw holes,
You know,
and then for the... Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, again, you know, this is the kind of stuff you would expect to find around a house like this. You know, pocket watch falls apart. They just probably threw everything right out the back door. But,
Well, keep digging. Some of them were sober.
I don't think this one is.
I don't think it is either.
But another pretty neat find
That's a very neat find.
here at the Clarke House. You
The
know,
pocket watch back was cool.
yeah, and it's, you know, it's one of those things, it's probably definitely 19th century.
Yeah, and it gives a human factor again to the house because somebody was carrying
Oh,
that
yeah.
pocket watch
You know,
for how long?
You find a lot of those around houses like that. You know, you see these guys all the time, and that's what they're picking up. They're picking all those little personal items. And I even found an escutcheon plate, probably something for a piece of furniture.
Mhm.
I mean, there was even a pulley. There was just tons of stuff in that backyard.
I found a lot of nails.
You are
That's
good
what I do. I
at
find nails.
finding nails.
I'm going to build a house soon.
You could already start the small addition.
I think I got something good in here.
What's that? Nathan, what'd you say?
I think I got something good.
What'd you get? Ooh, it's round. It's a button. You see? Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Need you to look here. That's a flat button. very early. Show him.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, hey, that's a flat button. When you look at that, these things, you can see right here is probably where they made the little wire attachment. Now, if we had a part of the wire, or if we clean it up a little bit,
Keep digging.
there's two types called Alpha and Omega. One is definitely 18th century, the other goes up into the 19th century.
Okay.
But you know, right now, without doing a little more on it, this could be anywhere between
Late 1700s, early 1800s?
late 1700s, early 1800s. Pretty
Nice.
cool find.
Good find. Good
I
find.
wonder where we're going to find some of them.
All right, I got something here that says tab large ring, which lately I'm finding could be just about anything. There's so much around here. Brian just found a pocket watch back, and we've got just about everything, so. And I'm right by the roots of this rather large silver maple tree. Hopefully I don't have to go through a root to get this. Jeez, a lot of little roots. Lots of roots. This is it. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. It appears to be a bronze eagle. And it looks like there's an attachment point on the back where it was like maybe had a stick where you could stick it in something, or I don't know. Fairly clean and even a little shiny on the back yet. So, one more cool little thing from the history of the Clarke House.
We've been working this backyard all day, really slow, trying to pick out those little individual targets. And I usually had my discrimination up really high because of all the iron hits inside here, but I decided to turn it down because sometimes you can mask better signals underneath. And I got a pretty good signal here, but it's saying it's right on the surface. So let's see what it is. Ah, right there it is. Where are we at here? Right there. There it is. Look at that. A beautiful cut nail. I mean, we're in a bit of a wash here. The water is just eroding this soil off. But I mean, you look at that. It almost looks like you could still use it. Sometimes you can date these by the way that the heads are formed. But I mean, a house like this, built in the 1850s, you're gonna find these types of nails.
Hey, Brian, you gotta come see this. You gotta see this.
What are you doing up here? I mean, looks like you're digging a foxhole or something.
I think I am.
You give detectors some bad names.
It looks like moles were in here.
You called me up, and I walk up there, and it looks like you were on Iwo Jima digging a foxhole. And you had the pinpointer out, and you're just getting signal after signal, and I walk up, and there's 10 or 15 pennies on your shovel.
It was over a dozen. It got to the point where I lost count. And yeah, I did tear up the ground a little bit. That was fun, putting that back in to make it look nice and neat.
That takes true artists to try to repair that.
Yeah. So look at this.
Oh my gosh! What? I mean, are those?
I found a cache.
What's the cache date to?
It's new. It's nothing old.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I mean,
look at that.
I mean, hey.
10. You got 10 pennies already. Another one.
11.
Look how corroded some of these are. and another.
And another. I love it. Oops.
Goodness sakes. I mean, if you look at this up here, I mean...
Up there. Well, look at that one.
I mean, look
That
how
one looks
corroded
burned.
that is.
That looks burned.
I mean, it's
Really?
amazing. You know, these newer zinc pennies, I mean, they just don't hold up well.
There's another one.
You look at some of those other ones we found today, those older ones, I mean, they look like the day they were dropped.
I got another one.
Goodness sakes. You know what? I'm going to let you have fun.
I'm having fun.
I'm going to try to find something a little better.
Hey, pretty soon I'll be able to pay for a new detector.
But, we're tight to those spots, man.
Yeah, well, hey. That was my first cache.
And and those are always kind of fun to find is those little caches like that and trying to figure out, what was going on. Was some kid throwing some pennies up there?
Yeah.
I mean, how did they end up there? And some of them were so
Some
corroded.
of them looked like they were maybe burned, like the zinc, because pennies aren't all copper, at least not in a lot of the newer ones. But it looked like they were melted. The zinc in them melted, because zinc melts at a lower temperature than copper does. So maybe somebody just was throwing something away,
and
pair of pants or something.
Could be.
Gentleman
And it
of
was
the
just in
house
his
just
pocket.
happened to have some pennies in his pocket and forgot about it and threw them there.
We're here at the H.H. Clarke House, built in the 1850s. We're hoping to find some artifacts, possibly dropped by H.H. family, the original occupants of this house. Probably find
Brian,
things.
you gotta come here.
We gotta go check this
You
out.
gotta come here.
What do you got here? If I can see that.
I gotta see.
What kind of reading did you get?
Coin,
Okay.
zinc,
Okay.
pull tab, nickel, lead.
Maybe you have all that.
I
in
got
there.
something in this hole.
When I heard you, yell out there while I was around talking with Clay about, the history of the house a little bit, I came running around there and I looked in that hole and I could not believe the size of that
I think
thing.
Ohio heard me yell.
Well, it's deep. Whatever it is, it's down pretty deep. Everything else we've been finding has been pretty shallow.
Um,
Oh my God! Look the size of that!
That's what you said.
Oh my
Look at
gosh!
how clean that thing is, too.
Some of the stuff we've been finding has been pretty. Look at that! Oh, you know what that is? You know what that is?
I'm pretty sure I know what that is. What's really cool about this is the fact that, again, this is how it came out of the ground, this clean. We haven't had time to clean anything yet. But what's cool is, look how worn it is.
Oh, yeah.
This thing spent a ton of time in somebody's pocket or a lady's purse or something. I mean, this thing was circulated some more, recirculated, and then some more, and then ended up 10 inches in the ground for some poor sap with an antique metal detector to come and find an antique coin.
Exactly.
Hang on a second, we got to get the old man glass out.
Let me see.
1828.
1820. That's a large cent.
It's a large cent.
Nice find. Nice find. I mean, there it is. We're talking about finding stuff from H.H. Clarke himself. That could have been dropped by him. I just can't believe you found something.
Well, I'm putting this in my pocket, not in my bag, because I like this.
Awesome find. Awesome
you.
find. Well, you know what? If that's sitting in the ground and you found it with that detector, I should be able to find something just equally small. I just gotta look a little harder.
I just like to say that even though I have the older detector, the ancient antique
Well, it
detector,
fits with you, right?
That's right, I'm old. I did find the oldest coin with the oldest detector. 1828, baby.
All right, guys, you're out at the Clarke House. You're back now. So what have you got? I mean, it looks like you've got a lot of things.
Yeah, we can start over here. I mean, as you can see, just overall, a lot of the artifacts we're finding, the artifacts you're finding are definitely debris you're going to find around a house, ranging everywhere from probably in the 19th century all the way into the very, probably 5 years ago. But we do have some really interesting finds here that I think we want to point out to you.
Well, just real quick, I mean, the thing that really does stand out are the variety of nails.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if we're looking for stuff that's tied to the house,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of these could be, and I'm guessing, Rich, you probably
Yeah,
found
we've
most
got
of those?
some. Yeah, pretty much as usual. You know me, nail boy. We got a bunch of wire nails here that are more modern. There was some construction work being done on the house while we were there, so I
Okay.
mean that's a fairly new roofing nail. And then you go back to some cut nails, and I mean that is really clean for a cut nail.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I guess, what do you guys think? So some of these nails, like these ones that look really good, could they have been something that fell recently if they're doing construction on the house, or is it stuff that's been in the ground for a while?
well, these ones obviously been in the ground for a while. They're pretty toasted. This one, however, it's pretty clean. And this one isn't too bad either. So yeah, it's possible that it's something that they ripped off in the recent construction and actually pulled some decent nails out, and then of course it hit the ground.
Cool. Really nice finds we can, I think, tie to the house. So
And Rich is good at finding those kind of finds.
yeah, you do
I'm
find
good.
a lot of nails.
I'm good for nails. I'm good for nails.
I mean, I am always sure when you come back from a dig that you are going to bring me some nails.
If it goes beep, I dig.
Before we come to here, let's talk a little bit about what we have over here. We did find, some house keys and things like that. What you're going to find, this looks to be probably from a lipstick case. And we did find a 1932 dog tag. You're going to find those kind of things always around a house site. We did find some probably elements that went on furniture. And of course, we always find these. And these things, whenever you hear them in the ground, you're sure you have a coin. But these are the brass parts to probably, they look like 12 gauge,
12 gauge.
shotgun shells. These were probably the ones that had the paper wadding on them. Today they're plastic. And we did find some rivets, and then of course another rimfire case. So the next items that we have are a little more of a personal nature. The first set are from suspenders. And we actually found these around the barn. So you can almost envision someone out there working around a barn, suspender gets snug on either a piece of hay, maybe a piece of machinery, the edge of the wagon or something like that, and popped off. And you can see here, this is where the belt would have come through. You have these two little kind of spikes that would have caught into the fabric of the suspender itself, so you could adjust it. The next thing that we have here is a pillar plate from a pocket watch.
Just looking at it, looks like there was a spot for a key to wind it. And just, if you look at these, you can kind of date them. It was around the 1850s that they start the stem wind ones.
Mm-hmm.
They really come popular till the late 1850s, 1860s. So this is probably prior to 1850. I mean, I'm sure people continue to make them later on, but with the keys, they go out of style. So I'm going to put this sometime prior to 1850. And that's really cool because, I mean, that could be something that, maybe Hervey Hindman Clarke himself, was
Yeah.
carrying around. So I really like that. That's a good find. I like what we're finding. We're getting better here. So
All right, now, this is for the grand finale. We're building up. We did find some coins, but before we get to those, let's talk about this. We did find, this is a large flat button. All right, now, when you date flat buttons, you always date it by the post or different construction methods. And the post is the thing on the back that actually holds the thread. Alpha and omega. Alpha, if it's an alpha post, it's going to be pretty much 18th century. If it's an omega post, it's going to be early 19th century. It's tough to tell on this one, but by looking at it, I think it's probably an alpha, which puts it into the 18th century.
all right.
Now, for the interesting find. This is the one that had my jaw hitting the ground that day. And Rich found this one. So I'm going to let him talk about it because this is one of those fantastic, extraordinary finds, I think.
This is one of those, it beeped really nice. Nice, high, clear. I had to stare at it a little bit and put my glasses on. But when it's all said and done, what we have here is an 1822 large cent. Solid copper and very nice.
So it'd be a Liberty Head.
Liberty
large
Head.
cent.
Liberty Head large cent.
I mean, the United States has been producing coins from 1792, I think, when they first started. But really, they were hitting their stride in the 1820s. So this would be when they really started producing a large number of coins.
And you can look at that thing, it's well used, it is slick.
So, I mean, what I'm seeing here, I mean, it may not be the richest site ever, but when we look at what we're trying to do and tell the story of the Clarke house and the Clarke family, I mean, I'm looking at nails here that could be tied to the construction of the home. I'm seeing, the watch that dates from around the right time. The button could be tied to it. The coin, is around the right time. So yeah, we're not getting amazingly rare objects, but I still think we have a story of the house, of the inhabitation of the house.
And yeah, there are, and like we said, we can tie stuff to the Clarks. I believe some of these definitely can be tied. The nails for the construction, definitely the coin, and maybe even this watch. But again, what's neat too, it just shows you the continual occupation of the site all the way up to the present day.
Hey, we had a great time today.
We had an awesome time
And
today.
it wouldn't be possible without Pat from McBracey Corporation.
Yeah, thanks so much for giving us permission to come out here and detect. Awesome, just awesome.